Let us welcome the seventh speaker. The seventh speaker is Ms.Miharu Obayashi.
Her speech title is Discrimination and I. Discrimination and I. Ms. Obayashi, please come up to the stage.
Do you ever look at yourself in the mirror and wonder why you have that color of hair, eyes, or skin, and why you are your race? During my 4-year journey of living in the US, every time I saw myself in the mirror, part of my daily routine was to wonder why I was born Asian. The whole journey started when I was in 2nd grade. Due to my parents' business transfer, my family and I moved to Texas. It was during PE that I experienced the trauma of discrimination for the first time. Our coach split us into 2 teams for the basketball game. Everyone lined up as the coach instructed us on which side of the court to go to. Left side, right side, left, left. Everyone could see what was happening. The teams were being divided by your skin color. White versus black and Asian, or in other words, people of color. The coach blew his whistle as if nothing had happened. This was the first experience of discrimination that was going to massively change my everyday life. 3 months after this, I came up against another obstacle, discriminative bullying. One day, one of my classmates started calling me a yellow monkey every morning for no reason. At the end of 2nd grade, I visited the school counselor with my parents, as the bullying was only escalating. It is painful being bullied, but I want to get along with everyone, I explained as I asked her for advice, but what she said instead was the ruthless reality of discrimination. I'm afraid that, in this country, your wish cannot be granted. And if you wish for that, I cannot help you. As she whispered, she slowly stopped stroking my head and took her hand away. At this moment, I finally realized that in the US, skin color was what defined a person. This had led me to believe that I was not allowed to interact with white peers. 3 years later, I entered middle school. I had become shy and fearful, someone I didn't recognize. However, one day, Fatima, a Pakistani girl, reached out to me. Fatima had indestructible self-confidence and didn't let discrimination bother her in the slightest. We got along with each other, and soon enough, we became best friends. One day, I mustered up the courage to ask Fatima a question I had always wanted to ask. Don't you find discrimination painful? She answered, yes. That's why I compete with my academics. Don't you think intelligence is more persuasive than skin color? Thanks to my friendship with Fatima, I could realize that discrimination was an obstacle we can overcome with our own personal weapons. So, I demanded my own. At first, I forced myself to actively talk to my classmates. This was not easy for me. Because I was discriminated by something as unbelievable as my skin color, I was always wary of my classmates. However, Fatima's presence gave me enough courage to keep challenging myself to communicate with my classmates. I could slowly find the real Miharu who could enjoy communicating. After reuniting with the real Miharu, I began to feel differently about discrimination. I started to ignore the opinions of those who deny the body I was born with. Although the dream of getting along with everyone, even in the US, had broken into millions of pieces 2 years ago, each piece still existed inside my true self. Before moving back to Japan, as I said my final goodbyes to Fatima, we promised to go to the same university in the future. Seeing all the colorful races at the airport, I simultaneously felt a huge sense of both accomplishment and belonging, and this concluded my 4-year journey in the US. Rediscovering my true self had helped me find the dream I truly wanted to fulfill and the actions I really wanted to take. It is this dream that developed into the assertiveness I now have to take every opportunity and became a step to overcome any walls before me. Martin Luther King once said, "Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream." Despite confronting discrimination every day, and no matter how cruel the society was to him, he held on to one dream without ever losing himself, and had the courage to share it with tens of thousands of people. Because Fatima pulled the real Miharu out from deep, deep inside of me, the Miharu who could enjoy communicating even after experiencing traumatic discrimination exists, just as the Miharu who is now giving a speech in front of hundreds of people exists. Now, every morning when I wake up and look at myself in the mirror, I see a face untroubled by regret. Instead, what exists on that face is braveness that has helped me to constitute a valuable life. So everyone, no matter how much you may be told that you're not equal, and no matter how much your heart is torn apart, be proud of yourself and your dream. Your true self will always lead you to the happiest choice. And keeping your dream alive will lighten up your life and remind you that there is no such thing as an insurmountable wall. Have you, keep you, and be you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Obayashi. Now, we have a question and answer session. Mr. Kubota, please.
Okay, hello, real Miharu-san.
Hello.
Okay, your speech reminded me of my childhood in Singapore. And I still remember that my classmate Daniel said to me, during the World War II, Japan invaded Singapore. How dare you? So if you were attacked, if you said something based on the historical fact, what would you do?
If my friend still discriminated myself because of the historical fact that we all have, I would tell them to find your true self, because you live in 2022, or right now, or 2023, and still looking back at the histories that we all have, I don't think that's the right idea, and I don't think that's your true self. And looking back at the histories when it comes to making friends or looking at one's personality is such a wrong thing when it comes to getting along with people, so that's what I think.
Okay, and clear, good answer. My next question, what do you think about LGBT people? Because now you talked about the racism.
Yes.
But there is also discrimination against LGBT. And what is the most different thing is that they are discriminated about their inner side.
Yes.
And what's more, this Japan does not admit the marriage between the ladies and lady, the single sex marriage. So maybe we can say that they are discriminated even by the country. How could they find their real self?
I don't think the people who are LGBTQ has to change, and we who are discriminating them, or even black people or white people, has to change, because differentiating by something that you cannot change, such as skin color, or the inner side that everyone has or they're born with. I don't think that's a true or correct way of getting along with people at all. So I think it's important for everyone to know that discriminating or differentiating something by the inner side or the outside is such a wrong thing. Yeah, that's my idea.
Okay. Well, as you say, it is wrong to discriminate people, even, well, no matter by his or her inner side or outer side, is fine. But the fundamental question I want to ask you, this is going to be a very last question. Why do human beings tend to evade or reject someone different from them? Why do they treat like an alien and discriminate?
That's an interesting question. The reason why people discriminate, right? I think the main reason is because they don't want to be alone. When I moved to the United States, mainly white people discriminated Black, Asian, or other people. And in my school, most people were white, and because there were many white people compared to colored ones, I think people tend to discriminate because they don't want to be left alone, or even because discrimination is such a big problem that we're facing for such a long time. So it might be a normal thing for some people, and that may be the reason why people still discriminate, even if Martin Luther King left his strongest words in the society we live in today.
Okay, thank you for a powerful speech. Time's up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kubota and Ms. Obayashi. Please go back to your seat. Now, we will have a judging time.